guys, this video is about why you should not have a work bestie and why you need to watch your back if you have a work hubby, a work wifey, any of these kind of people. Okay, in my last video, I discussed why you should not put on your application if you're looking for a part time job that you were in management positions. Okay, especially if you climbed up to the management position, you can always put down the position before that. Okay, so that you can get that part time position. Now, this is the reason, and I talked about it on my last video because the girl that I used to work for, she was basically management and she ended up getting what I call bamboozled by the work bestie into believing that I had been the one who told about her. Now, behind the scenes, I didn't know that he was the one who was scheming until I went back and I was talking to people there when I was basically there shopping to eat something. And basically, what I found was that this guy had actually been the one who told on her, and the person that he told her big secret to was one of the general managers that they had sent. I told you guys in the last video that she was doing some shady things, and basically, because of that, the corporate became aware and they started to send general managers to work at the restaurant because they couldn't fire her because she would either tell them she was pregnant or she would get pregnant. So, for that reason, they couldn't fire her because it might look like they let her go unfairly or something like that. So, for that reason, they couldn't get rid of her, and so they started sending people. And this is basically tactic that corporate uses to come in and infiltrate. This is called a Trojan scheme. And they send people, and the people become friends with the people that work there. And what ends up happening is that the people that work there start talking. So, what he did, since he was already kind of very loose in his mouth. He was the first person that we ever heard the rumor from. And then when we seen things with our own eyes, we figured it out. But no one wanted to say anything because as people were leaving, every time a person would leave, they would leave kind of angry. And we would see that they would report it and nothing would happen. And we started to realize that she had a very good network within that company where she knew everybody and she would tell us, like, she would brag about why she didn't get caught. She was proud of that. So, this is why you don't end up with a work bestie. The guy that ratted her out had known her 20 years. 20 years, you guys. 20 years. That should be the last person that rats you out. She gave this guy whatever schedule he wanted. She gave him a job, even though he didn't even do what the job description said. Okay? He wouldn't even put away the order, okay, during his shift or do anything really except change the registers and prep. And he would always be on the same position because he didn't want to deal with the customers. So that tells you everything. He was already living in such a way that he didn't want to even really do that job, but he was just getting by in that job. So, what ended up happening, and this is the crazy part because I see no other motive other than jealousy. Okay. And this is why I say don't have a work hubby because he was borderline, I think, in a way, psychologically speaking. He seen her as like work wifey, if you know what I'm saying. And what happened was that he transferred from another store because, according to the corporate, you could not work somewhere where your significant other worked because of a conflict of interest and nepotism. Okay. And because of this reason, he had to transfer to that store where he was working and had been working at for 20 years. So he couldn't even be working where his actual real wife was working. So now he's seen this, right? So the first time I meet him, he tells me about this. So he was already bitter about this, and I didn't even put it together till later. And it didn't dawn on me because he's very hard to show emotions. Okay? And we're the same culture, so like our culture, we don't show our emotions on our face. So anyways, basically what ends up happening was that uh psychologically speaking, I can understand that he's watching this person get what he wanted, right? And I'm not saying he wanted that guy. I'm saying that he wanted to work somewhere where he can have his significant other. And he's not just watching it, but he's watching her basically milk every opportunity out of it, right? Where every single time that they're hiring a person, they're putting down that her boyfriend referred them there. And so she's getting money through the boyfriend. And to basically have people that he knows work there and then they leave and all this stuff. So he's also having to deal with the consequences of all of those things. So let me tell you, he came across as like he had her back, everything. And then when that they sent that general manager there, he was the one who told on her. And then the way he deflected it was that he sent that general manager to talk to me. But I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want anything to escalate in such a way that it like they would find a way to like fire me or something, because I was good at my job, but I also have ADHD. So for that reason, I didn't want them to be like, oh, well, she like anything that I did, like if I got an order wrong or something. So I basically ended up being like, uh, I'm sure somebody will talk, but it ain't gonna be me. Okay. And I had already seen that every single person who talked, nothing good happened to them. Okay. Nothing good happened to them. They either ended up terminated, fired, or just never coming back to the store. So, this is how he triangulated the situation by sending the girl that was sent as spy by corporate to basically try to talk to me. And because there was that point of interaction, he tried to say and spread the rumor because he was a gossiper. And this is how these kind of people use the power of gossip. They use it to hide behind the fact of what they actually have done. So he used gossip to try to say that it was me. So then when I was talking to people, I was like, no, it was not me. I did not tell about that. And then they basically ended up blaming it on somebody else, but already fingers had been pointed at me. And at the same time, it wasn't necessarily that I wanted to go back to work there. It was just that the economy became crazy with everything that's been happening lately, that I was like, well, it's close by. I'll save money and they might hire me. Basically, that was like where my mindset was. But after the situation and realizing how this guy worked the system, and he basically got what he wanted because they ended up uh, firing or terminating her boyfriend, and she's still working the system because that boyfriend's friends are still there. The remnants of what they had done is still there. And what happened was that now she uses the boyfriend's brother who works there to basically do the same thing as before and takes a cut. So it is still happening. And the boyfriend's brother talks to me, and he never has like a wall up against me or anything. So just tells me, what's going on. So this guy ruined it for her in a way because I'm sure she's not getting the same proceeds as before. And basically, be careful with work bestie, work hubby, and work wifey, any of those people, because they let me tell you, they are your number one observer, and they are the closest person to you. The closest one to you, the one that you think's got your back like that, sometimes doesn't. So just be careful, you guys, because yeah, that's it. It's crazy. Like, he's the one who ended up throwing her under the bus, and she could have lost everything. And what ended up happening was that the corporate sold the location and then didn't take her with them, which I'm sure had to have hurt because that was her whole network. Her whole network of how she was getting away with everything was like left basically. And now she actually had to be good. And now when I go back to that place, it's actually in decent, like better shape than before because now she actually has to work. So, yeah, I mean, but does it rectify the fact that she got away with years and years of not actually coming in like she was supposed to and all of that? I don't know. I don't know. But all I know is that in some way, in some small way, there was a little bit of justice, but not necessarily a whole lot of justice because she still, you know, got to do what she's been doing this whole time. And so long as that is there, that opportunity of being able to make money from um and it from people who come work there. If they stay the 2 months, you get 200. If they stay 4 months, you get 400. If they stay 6 months, you get 600 or whatever. So long as that is there, there's going to be ways for not just her, but anybody who works for that company and becomes general manager to manipulate it. So I'm sure she's not the first and she won't be the last so long as it exists. But I will say stay away from places that have those kinds of things where they will be like, if you come here, you will get this bonus or that bonus or whatever. Because unless it says if you stay here like 2 years, we're going to give you this bonus, don't stay there. Because here's the thing, if it says you should, if you stay here 6 months, we'll give you this bonus, people oftentimes only want to work for that kind of bonus, and after the 6 months they will quit and they will try to come back and they will try to either get the bonus or they will try to only hire their friends if they make it to management so that their friends get those bonuses, and they'll make like a deal like you give me $200 from this or whatever. And yeah, it's not right, but it's how people function. It's the human nature. So try to fight your human nature today and try to be better. But this is basically my 2 cents. Watch out for those work besties. Bye bye.